Hi guys, so welcome I think to the next class of your CFA level 1. So this is more of an orientation class and in this class we are going to learn how to use financial calculator. So in your CFA examination you are allowed to use financial calculators. There are two variants of calculator which are allowed. One is by Texas Instrument, another is by HP. Now, generally, HP calculators are more expensive, and 99% of the candidates prefer using a Texas calculator. And all your notes, mocks, quizzes, all the solutions they have on your learning management system or in your books are basically based on as per the Texas calculator itself. So, definitely, to start your CFA course, you require a calculator. So the calculator which you will require is known as Texas BA2 plus. There are two variants of Texas BA2 plus, Texas BA2 plus normal, and there is a higher variant professional. You can buy any of the calculator. Both of them are allowed. Professional ones cost I think 1000 rupees extra. Even if you buy a normal Texas BA2 plus, that is good enough for your examination. It has all the functionality which is required. Now you can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it from any of the leading stationery shop. You can buy from wherever you want. In case if you are unable to find out, you can also reach out to FPA team. They can help you to get the calculator. But I think Amazon, Flipkart and any of the leading stationery shop, this is a very popular calculator that you can buy. Now, one important thing, when you buy a physical calculator, it has a 3 years warranty. Just ensure you fill the warranty form. That's an important, because you are going to use the same calculator throughout level 1, level 2 and level 3. I know most of you who have just started studying may not have the calculator, but so what I can tell you, you can try finding this calculator on the Google Play Store or also on the iOS store. Either it will be in the name of Texas BA2 plus, or there are few application with the name of BA Financial Calculator. So if you don't have the physical calculator, that is okay. You can use this application, mobile application, BA Financial Calculator, BA2 plus. Type it on the, if you are using Android, type it on the Play Store or even on the iOS store. There are apps which are available, which does the same job. So this is how exactly a calculator looks like. So I have an emulator version on my system to help you teach how exactly you use this. So this is your basically different functionality that the application has. So I'll start with a very basic. So if you see, this video will cover the basics functionality of how to use calculator, making you comfortable, because even before you start studying for CFA, you should know how to use this calculator, because most of us have never used these kind of financial calculator. And then post that video, you are going to watch a video on TVM, time value of money, and then you can start with the respective subject. So let's get started. So let's say I tell you to please find out what is 2 raised to 3. I know the answer is 8. And I know this is not going to be a tested in CFA exam. But the objective here is to learn something known as a y raised to x function. The objective here is very simple, to learn something known as a y raised to x function. So how exactly you do it? How exactly you do it? So if you see, this is your calculator. These are different numbers. This C stands for clear, if you want to clear anything. How exactly you do it? Let's try and understand. I'll click on 2. Then can you see this y raised to x button? Look at my finger carefully. If you see, just about the 9 button. Click on y raised to x. So this is y raised to x. So 2 raised to 3. Click on 3. Then press equals to. You get the answer 8. Let me repeat it again. Look at my data point. 2, y raised to x, 3, press equals to. You would get the answer as 8. I hope every one of you is comfortable. Now let's take an example. If I tell you to find out what is 3 raised to 5? I know it's very easy, but how do you do it on the calculator? You can maybe pause video and try it. What is 3 raised to 5? I'll wait for a minute for you guys to try. What is 3y raised to x 5? Please try it once. I'll give you a time. So 3, I'll again click the same y raised to x button, 5, and then I press equals to. So I get the answer as 243. So easy. I hope every one of us understood how to use y raised to x function. So obviously in the CFA exam, no one is going to ask you what is 3 raised to 5, but I am making you comfortable with a basic function y raised to x. This calculator is very powerful. This calculator has a lot of functions. So some of the basic functions I'm teaching you in the start itself. This is the calculator shortcuts that can help you to do advanced calculation faster. And obviously throughout, when you learn different modules, you are going to learn more about calculator. You will be learning more modes throughout your trainings. Now, what is root of 2500? Root of 196 तो सबको आता है. But what is root of 2500? I think we may not be very easy. What is root of 2500? So now you can do it on the calculator. How I will do it? Root of 2500, how I will do it? Let's see. I click on 2500. I click on root x button. So I got the answer as 50. I got the answer as 50. You can do any root x you want. Any root x. So let's say take any random number, you can find out the root x. So that's a powerful thing. Now let's make it one step higher. Now let's say instead of root x, I tell you to find out fourth root. I tell you to find out fourth root of something known as 4096. Try it. I tell you to find out fourth root of 4096. Now does the calculator has any fourth root function? The answer is no. Calculator does not has any fourth root function. Apply your own logic. I'll wait for a minute. Please try and see how many of us can do it. You need to find out fourth root of 4096. Let's try. Let's apply your common sense and let's see how many of us can do it. Now, to do this, there are two different ways. There are two different ways through which you can do it. One is, if I am writing fourth root, can I say fourth root is nothing but taking root x twice? If I have a fourth root, so if I take 2 times root x, I take 4096, I take a square root. Whatever the answer I get, I again take a square root. So it becomes a fourth root. Let's see. So what I do, I click on, first I clear this. That sum is gone. So I click on 4096. Now what I will do, I'll take the root x twice. So I'll click on root x. I'll again click on root x. So the answer is 8. The answer I am getting is 8. Now, this was very easy because it was fourth root. Had there be 12 root, 13 root, 15 root, then how do you do it? There needs to be some other way also. If I ask you to tell you to find out root 50, then kitni बार आप root x निकालोगे? Then it may not always be possible. So, the other method, look at it very carefully. Can I write 4096 root 4? Can I write like this? 4096 raised to 1 by 4. Can I write it like this? So 4096 fourth root is equal to 4096 raised to 1 by 4. Or simply 4096 raised to 0.25. Now, how can we do it? You have y, you have x, you have y raised to x. So can I apply y raised to x function? Yes. How do you do it? So what I will do, I repeat it again. I click on 4096. I'll click on y raised to x button, then it is 0.25. So 0.25. 4096, click on y raised to x button, 0.25, and I'll press equals to. So I got the answer as 8. Easy. You can also directly do 1 by 4 directly without even doing 0.25. Now 1 by 4 is one term, correct? To put them in brackets. So 4096, click on y raised to x. So 4096, click on y raised to x. Now 1 divided by 4 is a one term. 1 divided by 4 is a one term. So you need to tell the calculator boss this is one term. So how can you tell it? By putting them in bracket. So आपने 4096 put किया. You have to click on y raised to x. Now 1 divided with 4 is one term, so you have to put them in brackets. You have to put them in the brackets. How can you put them in brackets? So I'll write it again. So how I'll do it? 4096. Now it is 1 by 4 is one term. So I click on first y raised to x. Now 1 divided with 4 is one term. So I'll open the bracket. I'll open the bracket. 1 divide with 4. I close the bracket so that automatically it becomes 0.25, and then I'll press equals to. It is very important you put them in bracket, because आप bracket में नहीं करोगे. If you don't put in the bracket, what the calculator will understand, 4096 raised to 1, whatever the answer you get, divide with 4, you'll get the wrong answer. If you don't put them in the bracket, if you don't tell the calculator 1 divided by 4 is one term, that needs to be solved first. What the calculator will do, 4096 raised to 1, whatever the answer you get, divide with 4. So that is not the case. So how you need to do it? 4096, you have to click on y raised to x button, and then you have to tell 1 divided with 4 is a one term. So open the bracket, 1 divided with 4, close the bracket, equals to. You get the answer 8. This is an important which most of us may not know. This is important which most of us may not know. So you can find the root of anything. Root of anything you can find out using this. So let's say you want to find a root of 10. So raised to 1 by 10, you can do it on the calculator. An important function that can help you. Now if I tell you to find out root of 5000, 6 root of 5000, how do you do it? You will say, sir, it is 5000 raised to 1 by 6, and 1 by 6 should be in brackets because it is one term. So how do you do it? I open the calculator, 5000 y raised to x, bracket open, 1 divide with 6, bracket close, and equals to. So I get the answer as 4.13. I'll repeat it again. 5000. So agar I put 50,000. So if you want to erase just one term, just put this is like a backspace. So 5000 y raised to x, bracket open, 1 divide with 6, bracket close, and I press equals to. So I get the answer. So I'm sure most of you are very much comfortable with this. We learned y raised to x function. You can find out root of anything. You can find out root of anything. Now few important setting. So your calculator has, every button has two functions. Every button has two functions. So if you see, one has something return date. Just above number 2 you have an ICUN, it's an interest conversion. You will learn it. 3k upper profit, above 4 it is depreciation. So if I just type 1, the calculator will use the number 1. Now if I want to activate, let's say, date function, you don't know what is the date functions currently, we will learn. So you have to press this second. This second is like a shift button in your computer. So I press second and I click 1. So I'll press second and I'll press 1. Then you would see date function getting opening up. So every button in your calculator has two functions. If I just type 1, it will show 1. If I click the second, so then I click 1, then you will see date function getting open up. Simple example. If I just click the 7, it will just showcase the 7 function. If I click this second, the yellow one, and then click on 7, then you would see a data function will open. So all this function you will learn throughout your CFA level 1. Now I want you to go and search the format function in your calculator. Go look at your calculator carefully and see where it is the format function. So you would see here it is the format function. Now if I want to activate the format function, how will I do it? If I just put decimal, it will just show 0 point something. But if I want to activate the format function, how I will do it? I click on second and I click on format. I click on second and I will click on format. So you would see something known as a DEC. DEC stands for decimals. DEC stands for decimals. Now decimals is basically how many decimals you need in your calculator. I recommend to at least have 4 decimals in your calculator. So if it is not 4, if it is 2, if you just buy your new calculator, by ideal setting it is always 2. You have to change it to 4. How do you change it? So you go to decimal, you click on second format, आपका decimal दिखेगा. Then enter, click on 4. Click on 4 and then click this enter button at the top. So click on 4, click on enter button in the top. So this will set your decimals to 4. This will set your decimals to 4. So you have to click on 4 and you have to press enter. So this will change your decimals to 4. I recommend to have 4 decimals because anything less than 4 will do a lot of rounding off. Anything more than 4 will lead to a lot of decimal numbers, which you may tend to make more mistakes. 4 decimals, so that means point के बाद you have 4 digits. That is good enough. That will also ensure ज़्यादा round off भी नहीं हो रहा है और ज़्यादा numbers भी नहीं है. So change it to 4. This is an important setting. Come back, just click on CEC, you will be come back. Now I'll teach you something known as an STO and recall function. I'll teach you new function STO and RCL. STO function stands for store. RCL function stands for recall. Think of it like a copy and paste. Think of it like a copy and paste. Think of it like a copy and paste. STO stands for store. RCL stands for recall. You store anything and whenever you want you recall it. So let's start a simple example. Let's say I tell you to find out, sir, find out 2 raised to 5 plus 3 raised to 7 divide with square root of 1000. Can you please solve it? 2 raised to 5 plus 3 raised to 7 divide with square root of 1000. Please solve it, guys. Please solve it. I request you to please solve it. Most of us will do it like this. I'll find out 2 y raised to x 5 equals to. I'm sure most of you have got the answer 32. So you write it on a piece of paper. 32 plus. Then you'll find out what is 3 raised to 7. So 3 y raised to x 7. You press equals to. You get 2187. So you'll again write plus 2187. Then you click on divide. Root of 1000. So ye to we can do it directly. 1000 root got 31.6228. 31.6228. Now what most of you will do, you will write it on a piece of paper. 32 plus 218 divide with 31.6228 and then you will do manually, like you will do 32 plus 2187. You press equals to, you got 2219. You click on divide. This is the divide function. You click on divide. 31.6228. You do it, you get the answer as 70.17. This is the correct way. I'm not denying the fact. You got 70.17. I'm sure most of you would have got the answer. Now what is the challenge? See, here there are 3 numbers, but when you have 5 to 6 numbers, you will write everything on a piece of paper. You will again use it on the calculator. Don't you think it is too much manual? We calculate 32, We wrote it on a piece of paper. We calculate 2187. We wrote it on a piece of paper. Then again, after few steps, we have to take that 32 on the calculator. Again, 2187. Why do so much on the rough paper? In the exam, you get rough sheet, but why to use so much of the rough paper? Why can't the calculator be smart enough to directly store it in the memory and recall it? Yes, your calculator has a functionality. 32 मुझे use करना है. I can store temporarily in the calculator memory and use it whenever I want. Let me teach you how to do it. So I'll start this sum again. So we got the answer as 70.17, but let me teach you. The intent was not to teach you this. You guys already know it from the basic school. The intent is to teach you a calculator function known as a store and recall. So I click on 2. I click on y raised to x. I click on 5. I press on equals to. So I got the answer as 32. I know this 32 is something I have to use it. This 32 is something I have to use it. So can you see these two functions? STO recall. Just from the bottom, second last and third last row, you will see STO. Look at my finger carefully. STO. So I have to store it. I have to store it somewhere. So 32 I have to store it. So I click on STO and 1. I'll click on STO and 1. So automatically my number 1 has multifunctionalities. So when I click on recall and 1, you would see 32. So that means in your calculator number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, apart from the dual function they have, जो yellow में लिखा है, it can also be used to store something. It can also be used to store something. So if you see, if I click recall 1, I get 32. For those who are struggling, stuck, lost out, I'll repeat it again. So I'll click on 2, I'll click on y raised to x, I'll click on 5, I press equals to. I got the answer as 32. I know this 32 is something I have to use it. So I click on STO and 1. So automatically in the number 1, 32 is stored. Whenever I click on recall 1, 32 will automatically come. Hope everyone understood this. Now what is 3 raised to 7? So 3 y raised to x 7. Press equals to. I got 2187. I again have to store it because this is also the number I need it. Now I will not be able to store it in 1. Because if I store it in 1, the number will overwrite. 32 will go out and 2187 will come. So I can't store it in the number 1. I can store in some other key. So I can store in 2. Click on STO and 2. STO and 2. You want to check has the number been stored or not? Just click on recall and 2. So you would see 2187. Now what is the third number? 1000. Root 1000. So you find out root 1000. You get the answer as 31 point something. Again, you can't store it in 1 because 32 hai. You can't store it in 2 because you have 2187, but you can store in 3. So STO and 3. So up to 9 numbers you can store it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now what is your input? 32 plus 2187. So I'll do recall 1 plus recall 2 equals to. So I got the numerator. So 32 plus 2187 was stored in STO1 and STO2. So recall 1 plus recall 2. I press equals to. So I got the numerator. What is my denominator? It is stored in third number. Divide with recall and 3. So I got the answer without writing this manually. I'll repeat it again. 32 and 2187 were in recall 1 and recall 2. So I click on recall 1 plus recall 2. I press equals to. I press equals to. Then I click on divide with recall 3. I press equals to. I got the answer directly as 70.17. So this is the objective. The objective is not to teach you basic maths. Most of you would have learned it. The objective is to use STO and recall function, because see, the less you write on a piece of paper, the less mistakes you make. Because if you make mistake in writing, or if you make mistake in again typing on the calculator, you end up making mistakes. Your calculator is smart enough. This is a very powerful tool which you are going to learn, which can store anything. So the objective of this sum was not to teach you basic math, but was to teach you STO and recall sum. I hope every one of you understood. So anything you want. So let's take an example. If you're doing advanced calculations, there are so many numbers. Instead of writing on piece of paper, just keep storing. Whenever you want, you just keep recalling. So this will actually minimize your error. Do you want to do one more sum? Yes. So okay. So let's do one more sum. I'll take a random sum. So let's say 7 raised to 5 minus 4th root of 3000. I'm just taking a random number. Divide with 3 raised to 4. I wait for 2 minutes. I request you to please solve it. Please solve it. Don't write it on a piece of paper. Use STO and recall functions. Use STO and recall functions, please. So let's do it on the calculator. Let's do it on the calculator. First term is what? 7 raised to 5. So I click on 7. Y raised to x. I click on 5. I press equals to. So I got this 16,807. Do I need to store it? Yes. Click on STO1. Now again, whatever you store, the earlier data gets overwritten. So 32 agar aapka pehla store hai, you can't delete it. Just save the new number. It will overwrite the existing number. So click on STO1. 3000 fourth root. So 3000. Take root x twice. You got 7.40. If you don't want this, so 3000, another way of doing it is y raised to x, bracket open, 1 divide with 4, bracket close, equals to. So again 7.4. So using both the methods, you get the same answer. Either take root x twice or do like I discussed. So this will be stored in second memory slot. Click on STO2. What is denominator? 3 raised to 4. 3, y raised to x, 4. This is 81. Click on STO and 3. So what will be my inputs to the calculator? First minus second. So I'll click on recall 1 minus recall 2. I press equals to. This is my numerator. Then I click on divide, recall 3 equals to. So I got the answer as 207. I got the answer as 207. I repeat it again. Recall 1 minus recall 2. I press equals to. I click on divide with recall 3 equals to. So 207. This is a very powerful tool that will help you. And again, before even you start CFA, before even you start your classes, I recommend to watch this video because it's very important when in the classes we are discussing advanced valuation, when we are doing advanced things, people should not be confused with the basics functionality. So very important when you're watching this video, this should be your first video when you are starting, even before you start your classes. And you should not just watch video. Once you have solved this example, I'm sure you may be solving with me by pausing the video. You should solve it. You should, after the video, you should spend more time with your calculator. Spend 1 or 2 hours. Only then you will be comfortable. So it's like the more you use the calculator, the more comfortable you become with the calculator. So this is the basic first part of your calculator which I wanted to discuss, where we discuss plus, minus buttons, basic button, clear button. We discuss y raised to x function. We discuss root x function. We discuss SU and recall. This is a very, very basic function that you should be knowing. So I hope you enjoyed. Spend more time with the calculator. You will get more comfortable. In your next video, you will be learning more functions of calculator, specifically the time value of money. Thank you.